In case you didn't know, Roblox removed the corner clipping glitch a few weeks ago. In fact, Roblox has been slowly phasing out physics glitches from their platform for a while. This patch marks what can be seen as the first major removal to a commonly used glitch in the Roblox engine. To a lot of us obby and platformer players, it's a bit of a bummer, but for many, it's a necessary change to solve a problem that loomed over the platform for a while. Let's discuss the removal of corner clipping and piece together how warranted this change really is. Corner clipping is a glitch that can be used to teleport along walls, including across large gaps and even through other objects. The process involves placing your character's torso against a corner of a rectangular or square part before toggling first person or shift lock and instantly turning the character around 180 degrees. Upon successful completion, the character will move mostly or completely through the part they were just up against, appearing at one of the other corners of the rectangular part. This glitch is extremely useful for passing through locked doors and getting to unintended areas of maps, as the architecture of many doors has a door frame or nearby wall that pokes out and allows for corner clipping. It can also be used to pass over large gaps, teleporting along the wall and over a long pit to safety. For the obby community, corner clipping was accepted as a mechanic and a skill to be practiced, and this is especially prevalent for games such as Juke's Towers of Hell and its related sprawl. Glitches such as corner clipping, dance clipping, and wall hops are all necessitated for the higher difficulty courses, sometimes encompassing entire sections or floors of a course. The Tower of Glitching and Healing from JTOH in particular comes to mind, an entire 1,000 stud tall course dedicated to quick and consistent execution of these tricks. It was given the title of Soul Crushing, one of a handful of towers that sit atop the spectrum of difficulty in that game. Of course, now that much of his tricks are no longer possible, the fate of that tower is murky at best. Entire games have been dedicated to teaching, practicing, and investigating these engine glitches, as knowledge of the Roblox engine and its faults allow for development of obstacles as well as shortcuts that echo the drive and the mentality of the speedrunning community. Quirks in the Roblox engine, of course, can be used in the vast majority of games on Roblox that don't use custom camera scripts or player rigs, and therefore, these glitches are commonly used outside of the obstacle course games they call home. This can cause problems for many developers, as unless they account for these glitches in their building style or by using custom scripts in their game, creative or malicious players can use these engine quirks in unintended ways. Locked houses in Welcome to Bloxburg and Work at a Pizza Place can be easily entered into without the owner consent. And while owners of these digital houses don't need to worry about theft of property, it's quite frankly annoying. One can imagine a young child retreating to their home and locking the door in an attempt to get away from a harasser or a troll, only for said troll to easily clip into their house and continue making fun at the child's expense. Of course, people with half a mind to be selfish or malicious can quickly use corner clipping to hurt others' experiences past harassment alone in specific games. Hide-and-seek games, or other obstacle games that have players race against each other, are especially prone to corner clipping. In hide-and-seek, a keen-eyed obbyist can easily identify places where they can perform the glitch in order to get to an untouchable part of the map. Players not versed in the glitch will immediately lose due to the unfair circumstance. In our hypothetical race game, the player might find a spot to perform the clip that saves them 10, 30, 60 seconds, or can even bypass the entire map. This ruins the spirit of the game and leaves the other players in a position where they have no choice but to just give up. Is it feasible to reach a point in the Roblox community where the glitch is known by everyone and accepted as part of the platform? I don't think so. Remember that Roblox's demographic sees that young kids take the majority of the player base, and the player base is constantly gaining and losing players month by month. Attempting to force the way of the glitch upon so many people will just undoubtedly make it more of a problem for those who can't perform it. Not to mention that many developers might not want people knowing about these glitches if it minimizes their work and keeps their game functioning well enough. Finally, the sheer volume of unique players alone makes this option an impossibility. Given all this information, and the simple idea that Roblox wants fewer glitches on their platform, corner clipping was removed. I wanted to get as broad of a perspective as I could when it comes to how people feel about the removal of this glitch. I talked to a variety of people, some of whom have been playing Roblox for longer than I have, some of whom hardly play obbies, some of whom I would consider experts on obbies, and even a developer. Here's what they had to say about this. When it comes to people's initial responses on the glitch's removal, the response was split evenly in two directions. The first group, who I'll call Group A, were overall pretty bummed about the removal, but they weren't too pessimistic about it. A lot of people saw it as a fun way to mess around. One person writes, "It kinda sucks because it was funny to glitch out of maps, lobbies, use it for shortcuts and other stuff. But it's fine that they removed it, sometimes it's overused in a way that wouldn't be fair." Another person lamented about how one of their favorite ways to save time on speedruns was removed, but accepted the change without prejudice. The other half of participants, who we'll refer to as Group B, were very happy about its removal. One person was relieved that they could develop maps and environments without fear that someone might be able to abuse their building style. Another person simply responded with, "It's a bug, and bugs need to be patched. It's been a long time coming." I also asked them another question, one that requires a bit more than just a gut reaction to answer. Is it the job of the developer to patch glitches like these? The question split the participants once again, but into completely different groups, and it's easy to see why. Of course the glitch originated from Roblox, and therefore Roblox is the one responsible for it. But in this case, Roblox took a long time to get to it, and many games suffered for it. So it can be argued that developers also need to take a step in and fix the problem while it's current. A reliable script to stop corner clipping can be written within 3 functions, each of which are less than 10 lines long, and can be easily written from scratch in an afternoon by a skilled coder. So when a bad actor starts making the game unfair by corner clipping, who should we point to in order to get the problem solved? Of course, the cleanest solution would have been to simply give developers the option to enable or disable the glitch from affecting their game, so that there's no conflict of interest between the hobbyists and the regular player base. And in fact, scripts have already been developed that act as a substitute for the original glitch with very few differences. But having to choose between the two, I'd have to agree that the glitch needed to go. It inevitably does more harm than good to the overall platform, and while it sucks to have a skillful and fun aspect of the physics engine removed, this is a scenario where not everyone will be happy with the decision. While I talked about a lot of hypothetical scenarios in this video, I witness real situations almost every day of corner clipping harming a server's overall experience in my favorite Roblox game, Flood Escape 2. 1 or 2 selfish players could use their obbying prowess to skip buttons along the map, leaving everyone else behind, sometimes to die. The hobbyists were simply using a skill that they had to beat the maps faster, and that's great. But everyone else locked behind the button gets left behind in the process, and skipping buttons overall goes against the spirit of the game, in my opinion. The problem was infinitely worse on Chaos servers, where every button required 30% of players to press, and where the server was boosted to its maximum difficulty much more often due to the maximum player limit of 40. Known clip spots were used by several players at a time to skip the first 2 buttons of each of the hardest maps, leaving everyone else behind. With a non-insignificant part of the server skipping the button, an even larger resulting majority is required to press each button, which oftentimes didn't happen. Lobbies would be filled with players sitting in the elevator ad nauseum, as the small few who knew the clips would complete the hardest maps over and over before boosting the difficulty once again and repeating the cycle. This resulted in servers simply filled with people sitting in the elevator, unable to play past the first button of 2 maps. As much as I cherish CrazyBlox's work, he turned a blind eye to a problem plaguing a lot of his game servers, even when one of the community members handed him a solution to the corner clipping in the form of a small script. And in my opinion, it hurt the health of his game. As for the future of many of the hobbyists climbing towers and discovering glitches, Roblox has been cracking down on glitches over time, and slowly but surely they may find their bag of tricks beginning to empty out. While simulating these glitches in a script might not be the most ideal option, it's likely the best one if they want to try to preserve many of their courses as they are. For most other players, they'll go on with their day, not aware that such a glitch was patched in the first place, and life will simply move on. That's all from me today. Let me know what you thought about this video by leaving a message in the comments section down below. I love hearing from everyone, and I especially want to hear your thoughts on this one. Until next time, this has been Occida, and I'll see you in the next one.